Have you read a story in the Draoithe Saga and come away with a classic case of immersion after effect? Let me guess, there are questions which remain unanswered even as the magic expanded, adding another layer to the dream. The grand desire to turn the page to discover what happened next ended with the last leaf turned. If you're asking where the remedy for the book hangover is, you know the answer: read another story. But you aren't ready for the next tale, not yet. The dust needs to settle before you pick up the next volume. So you have found your way here. You aren't alone. Even the author can't get enough. As you hear this, Ophelia Key writes on. But allow me to offer you a possibility, a reflection on the tale you recently finished, and a way to revisit the story to ease the story blues. Welcome to the Draoithe Saga After Party. Warning, spoiler alerts ahead. Turn back now if you wish to read the story blind.
Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we help you get informed fast. We take your sources, pull out the key stuff. Well, basically, we design this for you, the learner.
Right. Someone who wants those aha
Yeah.
moments, but, without getting totally bogged down in detail.
Exactly. So today we're looking at Big Bad Wolf by Ophelia Key. It's paranormal romance, urban fantasy, part of the Draoithe Saga, apparently.
That's right. And we should mention up front, this is definitely for mature readers. It deals with adult themes, fantasy violence, and some pretty explicit situations.
Good to know. Okay, so our mission here is to get a grip on this Draoithe world Key's build. What's the main conflict, and what's the relationship deal between the main characters, Javier and Isabell? That's what we're aiming for based on these excerpts.
Okay, Draoithe, where to start? It's presented as this dream to live for.
A dream.
Yeah, a place where all those myths, legends, fairy tales, they're actually real. And a big goal there is restoring magical balance.
How do they do that?
Often, it involves finding a life mate. It's like a soulmate, but, well, more intense. It's crucial for their magic, for stability.
So finding your partner literally helps balance the world. That's different.
It is. And the whole Draoithe Saga, the bigger story, it's about founding this immortal kingdom in a place called the Lean Deal.
Lean Deal. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and this kingdom was basically set up to fight back against forces that, well, messed up the magic in the past.
Right, a kind of ancient magical conflict. But Big Bad Wolf itself, it's set more recently. Tyler, Texas.
Exactly. The main stuff happens around the year 01 Next, mostly in Tyler. And it's interesting. It's presented as a regular city, but underneath.
Magic, shifters, all that.
Yep. Woven into daily life. But it still connects back to those other kingdoms and the bigger picture,
Gotcha. And this life mate thing connects to the fated mates idea we see a lot in paranormal romance.
Totally. It's a big part of it. You have that instant, powerful connection. But it's happening in this urban fantasy world with its own history and rules.
So a mix of genres.
Definitely. He blends them well. You get the intense personal connection alongside the world building and the sort of magical intrigue.
Okay, paints a good picture of the setting. Let's talk characters. Javier and Isabell. Who are they? What's their story in this book?
So Javier Maguire, he's our big bad wolf. He's a dire wolf shifter. Pretty new to it, actually. But he becomes the beta, second in command of the druid pack, really fast.
Beta. So like the muscle, the enforcer.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Right hand to the alpha. He's tasked with checking out newcomers, protecting the pack. Serious responsibilities.
Okay, and Isabell?
Isabell Dracos. She's a phoenix shifter, fully grown, and she's new to this pack in Tyler. She's described as kind of innocent, despite, well, we'll get to that. And she's Javier's life mate.
Ah, the fated connection.
Right, but here's the twist: she's initially scared of him, especially his wolf form.
Oh, okay. So, instant connection makes instant fear. Classic conflict setup. What's driving that conflict for Javier?
It's a real pull in two directions for him. He feels this incredibly strong protective urge towards Isabell, his mate. But he's also got his duty to the pack.
Duty versus desire.
Kind of. Plus, there's this threat looming over Isabell, something called the Fade. And he also needs to be careful about her friends, make sure they aren't bringing trouble to the pack.
The Fade? That sounds ominous. What is it exactly? Do we know?
The excerpts don't give a super detailed definition, but it seems to be like a decline. A loss of vitality, maybe even a magical wasting away for shifters who live a long time but don't find their life mate.
Wow, so being alone is literally dangerous for them.
It seems so. It really raises the stakes for Isabell and for their potential bond. Finding the connection isn't just romantic, it's maybe survival.
So Javier's journey is about juggling all this. Pack safety, Isabell's safety, this fade thing, and his own feelings.
Exactly. He's growing into his role as beta, as a leader, while dealing with all this personal and external pressure. It's about love, loyalty, survival. The whole package, really.
Okay, let's zoom in on them. Javier first. What else do we know about him? The big bad wolf.
Well, we get these great sensory details. He smells like damp earth and sawdust.
Damp earth and sawdust.
Yeah?
Earthy, but also maybe practical.
Yeah, it's evocative, isn't it? Fits the dire wolf thing, but maybe hints at something else too. He's also head of security for Draoithe, like the whole organization, not just the local pack.
Okay, big job.
Huge. We know Isabell's his mate, he's the pack beta. And here's something telling. He's apparently willing to fight his own alpha, Luke, for Isabell.
Really? Challenges his boss.
If it comes down to her safety, yeah, shows how deep that connection runs. He's loyal, but he'll push back if he thinks something's wrong.
Interesting. Protector, but not blindly obedient. What about Isabell? Our little red.
She smells like clean wood smoke from a campfire.
Campfire smoke. Warmth. Maybe something temporary, like she's been moving around.
Could be.
Yeah.
It contrasts nicely with Javier's scent. She's an artist, owns Labyrinth Art Studios, so creative, independent. She's also an alpha.
Wait, she's an alpha too, an alpha phoenix.
Yep, which is really interesting, right? Potential power dynamic there. We also learn she's been alone for a long time.
Why?
Because of her phoenix fire. She's afraid of hurting people she gets close to. It's made relationships difficult, dangerous even in her mind.
That's heavy.
It is. She had a gallery back in California, did moderately well with other artists involved. But then this guy, Peter Elliott, commissions a phoenix painting.
Uh-oh. Let me guess, this Peter Elliott is bad news.
Seems like the catalyst for a lot of trouble. Isabell has this awful nightmare, gets rescued by her friend Fox, and that seems to kick things off. Fox realizes he's not safe in California anymore, contacts Luke and Tyler for help.
And Isabell goes with him.
Yeah, she sees it as the best chance for safety for herself and her friends Fox, and another one, Artie. When she gets to Tyler, boom, instant attraction to Javier. And a big part of that is he doesn't react badly to her fire.
Which must be huge for her.
Massive. But there's more. We find out she was actually kidnapped and attacked just before arriving. She ended up, well, she killed her attacker. Yeah. With help from Fox and Artie, who were black bear shifters, by the way. But the kidnappers used a tracker, which led them to Fox and Artie, forcing all three to bolt for sanctuary with Luke's pack.
Okay. So she's carrying major trauma and is actively being hunted when she arrives. No wonder she's scared, even of her fated mate. How do they even start connecting?
Well, Javier sees her bruises, right? And he gets instantly protective, angry at whoever hurt her. Then she shifts into her phoenix form.
What's that like?
It sounds incredible. Black feathers, but with scarlet red on her head, wings, neck, tail,
Ew.
reddish legs and talons, and she gives off ice-cold blue flames.
Cold flames, Blue?
Yeah, cold blue flames. Still smells like campfire smoke, though. And even though she's maybe wary of his wolf form, Javier immediately recognizes her power, knows she's an alpha in her animal state.
And Luke, the alpha, sees all this.
Oh, yeah. Luke puts Javier in charge of protecting both the pack and Isabell specifically. He gets how important she is and the danger.
Makes sense. So Isabell starts feeling safer with Javier.
Slowly, yeah. Despite the trauma, his presence is described as comforting. He has this aura. And crucially, he doesn't freak out about her fire like everyone else in her past apparently did.
That acceptance must be everything.
Absolutely. But she still worries, if things get romantic, could she burn him? That fear is still there.
So how do they build trust? Move past that fear?
It's in the small things, like Javier carrying her when she's asleep, just pure, gentle protectiveness. Her friends, Fox and Artie, they're worried too, say she's a bit broken.
Understandable.
And there's this whole thing about being immortal shifters. They outlive humans, friends, family. It leads to serious loneliness if they don't find their life mate. That fade thing we mentioned.
Ah, right, the fading.
Isabell's over 100, grew up in an orphanage. She knows that isolation deep down. That's partly why she's so scared of relationships, of potentially hurting someone again.
Man, that context really explains her reluctance, a lifetime of potential loss and the fear of her own power.
Exactly. Then there's this weird dream sequence. Eli, another character, can dreamwalk. He pulls Javier into one of Isabell's nightmares.
In the dream?
Yeah, it's set in a warehouse. Even in the dream, Javier is super protective of her. It seems to kind of forge a bond, even if it's subconscious.
Okay.
And then, because Eli's maybe not the smoothest operator, Javier and Isabell accidentally end up in the same bed, not sexually, just there.
Oh,
Totally.
yeah.
Isabell admits she screamed when she woke up. But even with the awkwardness, she starts seeking him out more. His presence helps with her anxiety, her nightmares. He feels safe.
So comfort comes first. How does it shift towards romance?
Well, Luke offers Isabell a job managing an art gallery at this retreat they're building for shifters.
Oh, cool. Gives her purpose. A place.
Exactly. And then Javier decides to move in with her, partly to protect her, sure, but he also says he'll help with the gallery. He even takes orders from her on that front.
Okay, that's a significant move.
It is. And he reassures her about his past thing with Eli, makes it clear it's just friendship now. His feelings are for Isabell. They keep sharing a bed, but still just for comfort, for security. Building trust.
But it sounds really healthy, actually. Patient.
It does. And Isabell starts drawing again.
Yeah.
Sketching Javier, both human and wolf. You can see her feelings growing, her trying to understand him.
Art as connection. Nice touch.
Then they have this playful moment by a lake in their shifter forms. Direwolf and Phoenix. Just interacting, building that nonverbal trust.
And that leads to
their first kiss, described as full of wild abandon. Sounds like it was mutual, intense.
Oh, okay.
And from their first intimate encounter, importantly, Isabell initiates it.
She does, despite the fire fear.
Yeah. It seems like they both learn a lot, find pleasure, even with that fear still kind of there.
Yeah.
It leads to this big bonding moment. Flames, light, magic.
A magical bonding.
Pretty much. Deep connection. Whispered I love you. Afterwards, Javier even has what they call a Phoenix Flames hangover, like a physical effect of the magic.
Whoa. Intense.
And then get this.
Yeah.
Isabell's fire, the thing she was so afraid of, it heals Javier, removes his old stars.
Wow. Her fire heals him. That's powerful symbolism.
Right, talk about transformation. Of course, Javier's still protective, maybe even likes that she needs him a bit, even while wanting her whole and healthy. And around this time, Luke offers Javier a full partnership in his business, something Luke wanted even before Javier became a shifter.
So things are solidifying personally and professionally for them. What about the pack? How are things developing there?
The pack's growing. Fox, Isabell's friend, officially becomes head of intelligence. He brings history, strategy. They're definitely gearing up.
Gearing up for what? Peter Elliott?
He's still a threat, yeah. There's a pack council meeting planned just to discuss him. And the retreat plans are getting serious. Gallery, library, lecture hall, gym, uni complex, cabins, hotel, pool.
And they're building a whole community.
A real sanctuary. They have a druid pack ceremony, too, with staves and swords. Looks like formalizing roles, taking oaths. Isabell and Artie even start learning witchcraft.
Adding more skills to the mix.
Definitely. Weapons arrive. Training starts. They're getting organized, getting ready.
So the pack's getting stronger. Javier and Isabell's bond is getting stronger.
Yeah, through all these shared activities, the intimacy. There's this comfortable silence developing between them and their close friends, like Fox and Artie. Real understanding. Javier even feels like Isabell saved him.
Saved him? How so?
It's not fully spelled out, but it suggests their connection healed something deep in him, too. It wasn't just her needing safety.
Mutual healing. That's lovely. But stories need tension. Is everything smooth sailing now?
Well, just when things seem settled, there's an interruption. A human shows up. Andrei Alexandrescu.
A human where?
You're a white fox, which, in this world could be anything. A shifter, a magical sign. So a random human near this potentially significant fox. It definitely raises flag.
Intrigue. Okay, let's wrap this deep dive on Big Bad Wolf. Key takeaways.
Okay, so we got introduced to Draoithe, this world where myths are real, magic needs balance. We saw Javier and Isabell, the direwolf and Phoenix, find their fated connection despite her past trauma and ongoing threats like Peter Elliott. And we saw the beginnings of this druid pack forming in Texas.
Right, and those aha moments, what stood out?
I think the unique aspects of the Phoenix and direwolf shifters, especially Isabell's cold fire and her fear of it. Then there's the importance of life mates for immortals. That idea of fading from loneliness is pretty stark.
Yeah, that really adds weight.
And how Key blends those fairy tale ideas, Big Bad Wolf, Little Red, into this modern urban fantasy setting. Oh, and the magical bonding process between Javier and Isabell, how it was both intense and healing.
Absolutely. Well, learner, we hope this gave you a solid, quick understanding of Big Bad Wolf, its world, its characters, maybe made you curious about the rest of the Draoithe Saga.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. You've got this new pack, this intense bond, but now this ordinary human appears near a potentially magical white fox.
Right. What does that mean?
Exactly. What new conflicts, or maybe even unexpected alliances, could that bring? How does this mix of magic and the everyday world keep shaping things for Javier, Isabell, and the whole pack? Something to chew on.
Thank you for your support. For more, visit opheliakey.com. Welcome to the dream. Sincerely. Okay.